Welcome to the YouTube channel Facts and Secrets Around the World. Lots of people like horror movies and events. Especially if these young people tell about PLACs and homes inhabited by evil spirits and ghosts. And what increases the topic of excitement and suspense when it collects, a sentence of events was written inside the film taken from a true story. At that time you say, what? Are you kidding or what? Unfortunately, many stories that include places and homes inhabited by spirits and ghosts are seen by strange incidents, and most of them are preferred without solution or thinking. Welcome to this episode. We will talk about places full of evil spirits and ghosts around the world. And before we start, if there is still something new on the channel, do not forget to subscribe and set the bell so that our videos will reach you first. On October 24, 1867, a business was opened in Victoria, Australia. It was one of the largest psychiatric and neurological hospitals in existence at this time. For 28 years it has been home to more than 1,200 patients and 500 employees. The conditions for entering the hospital for any patient were the easiest. All that is required in order to enter a person into the hospital is that we answer the signature of a specialist doctor stating that this person suffers from mental illness and the signature of the patient's relatives. The frightening conditions remain for the patient to be discharged from the same hospital. For someone to get out of it, they need 8 signatures from different specialists. And this is what has evacuated throughout the entire life of the hospital. The number of those discharged from it does not increase, and more patients died inside. One of the cruel features of the hospital was that its wall from afar seemed to be low and easy for anyone to cross. But inside the building there was a ditch next to the wall, so that it was impossible for anyone to cross. In addition, the treatment regimens in the hospital were among the worst. This was confirmed by a number of nurses who were working in the place. And a large number of those who read to wander around the hospital buildings said they had seen ghosts of nurses and children, and strange noises in the place had no explanation. The hospital is currently considered a tourist attraction. And it has specialized trips in which the visitors, with a guide, tell them the stories of the patients and the treatment methods they have been exposed to. In the U.S. state of Iowa there is a family home. This house is considered one of the most popular inhabited homes with ghosts in America. And fame based on previous experiences. On June 10, 1912, one of the strangest incidents you could hear about was released. Hadessa killed 8 members of the father, the owner of the 40-year-old man, the mother of 39 years, and their 4 children. In addition to 2 daughters from the Challenger family, who were at home at the time. That day, at 5 a.m., their neighbor, Mrs. Mary Beckham, realized the accident. What happened was that she woke up on that day as usual, spreading the laundry in a garden. And she was surprised when Mrs. Sarah did not find in the garden. And whoever was used to waking up and preparing for housework at the same time. And the one who added to our doubts the most is that up to 8 hours, Mrs. Sarah had not yet come out. The whole house was in a frightening sleep. And because of that, she decided that she would contact Mr. Nor's brother, after she had failed to confuse or open the door. Indeed, the brother of the owner of the house arrived and opened the door. And here was the biggest shock in the whole town's life. All the members of the family and 2 of the Staling girls were hideously murdered in their beds. Their skulls were chipped with the axe and disfigured to the utmost degree. This accident was a turning point for the town of Pliska. Doubts began to swirl around a large number of individuals. And everyone remained apprehensive, even from the people closest to him. Unfortunately, until today it is not known who is the real killer. And the house was named after the axe murder house. From this date until our time, many people who visited the house made sure that they heard the sounds of children or children screaming calling to each other. In 1994, a person bought the house and decided that he would make it Mazar, and everyone entered and discovered the house from the inside. The governor preferred to look after the house as it is from the hour on the day of the accident. And after more than a year of the accident, the story of the house preferred to replace many inspirations of writers and novelists. At 14 West 10th Street, in the Green Watch neighborhood near Washington Square Park, is one of the most famous haunted homes in the world called the House of Death. Although the shape of the house does not suggest anything abnormal, it hides the secrets of a large number of people who lived in it. And those who were the reason that this house is called the House of Death. The house was built in 1856 and many of the people who inhabited the house were famous. Among the most famous tenants was Mark Twain, legend of American literature. He stayed in this house for about a year. During this period, he was fighting bankruptcy and fighting depression. Although Twain was known to be suspicious of ghosts, he wrote about his experiences at home, which included a number of abnormal phenomena that he healed himself, and the one from which the gray was showing him in the blood he was seeing on the ground. Although Mark Twain did not die in the house itself, many people who lived after him confirmed that they saw him on the stairs of the house or in various other places. This is a mystery that has not been solved until this moment. In 1937, the house was transformed into a building containing 10 apartments. After a while, one of the residents of an apartment there confirmed that she and her daughter had seen Mark Twain's ghost. He was sitting next to the window and near them, and he said to them in the text, "My name is Samuel Clemens, and I have a problem here that must be resolved." And then the ghost disappeared. And Samuel Clemens was really the real name of the American writer. I went back the years and we arrived in 1957, and the actress and writer Jean Bryan Bartle, she and her daughter, lived in an apartment on the last floor of the building. Jan Mendy wondered a number of unnatural phenomena that happen in the place. Among them, she was feeling a shadow and a strange body chasing her everywhere in the house, and on one occasion she said that she saw a ghostly figure of a man standing in the house and gathered her courage and extended her hands and tried to touch him and felt something strange which she described as a substance without substance. Neat, damp, cool and transparent like a swamp fog. She said all the pets in her home began to remain upset and offensive. And that all those in the house were smelling strange smells, the source of which is unknown. But one of these smells was discovered by the food. No one in the house quite bought it. It was moldy and had been around for a long time. Here, Jan decided to seek help from an expert in paranormal phenomena. Indeed, he visited her at home, because there were 22 souls who lived in the house in the past. And she decided that she was documenting her psychological experiences with the abnormal phenomena that happened to her in this house during her stay in it in a book, and the book was one of the most successful books that were published. Among the most famous passages in the book was the one in which she would die like all those who died in the house, even after she left home. Indeed, Jan died shortly after completing the book, and her death was in mysterious circumstances. Some rumors confirmed that she was suffering from depressive episodes, and other rumors said that she committed suicide. And her death is a reason and a great credibility for the Death House legend. What confirmed what remained the legend of the house the most is the incident that took place in the same house on November 2, 1987. In this history, New York City witnessed a real tragedy that all magazines, newspapers and television programs spoke about. On November 1, attorney Jules Steenberg committed one of the most heinous crimes by torturing his adopted daughter Lisa, who was 6 years old at the time. She and his authored wife. 10 hours after the wife was afraid that she would inform the police, she decided to call the ambulance. But it was too late. And the girl was dead. The father was imprisoned for premeditated murder and the mother for indirect murder. What made the matter more acute was that stories and events spread about the house to all the neighboring houses on the street and the entire residential complex. Residents began to talk about lights peering out of the building, and many of the residents said they had seen the ghost of someone wearing a long abaya, wandering the corridors. And with that, we keep talking about places full of evil spirits and ghosts around the world. Would you like to talk about the following videos? Just write to us in the comments. If you like the video, you will not forget like and share. And the people who first saw us do and set the bell so that our videos get you first. I will see you the next episode. They subscribed and did the bell. And whoever participates in a comment under the video, he remains a member of the Facts and Secrets. Goodbye.